A couple of days ago, I made a video talking about the whole situation with the best ever food review show drama going on with Egypt. It's a great video, a lot of tea has been spilled, so if you would like a sip to that tea, I suggest you go watch it. But don't go just yet. So last time I reviewed the trailer for this series because that was all I wanted to talk about at the time. But a lot of you guys want me to review the whole series and the food and places he talks about. And well, I'm a man of the people. I love my viewers, so here I am. I'll be watching the first vid in his series and commenting on it. Without further ado, let's get into it. Honestly, it's impressive what they did with just phones. As someone with a little bit of experience in recording and shooting and all that stuff, I must say it's a great job what they did with this series.
Egypt's slogan should be, leave your camera at home, but bring your money.
That's what you would think, but actually, there is a limit on how much money you can take with you out or into the country in cash. And wiring money into Egypt from outside has a ton of restrictions on it. I'm not gonna get into details, but from personal experience, it's a nightmare. So, no, they don't even want you to bring your money. They're that stupid.
They don't want you to shoot here. That's very obvious, very clear.
Egypt. It's one of the worst countries in the world for filmmakers. I wouldn't suggest it for tourists either. Within hours of arriving in Cairo, my team and I were interrogated and searched. Finally, all of our equipment was confiscated.
It's very dehumanizing at this point.
The government does not treat people as humans in the first place. Dehumanizing is the best way to put it. Egypt and a good portion of the Middle East in general is not exactly known for its human rights.
Because they're going through my personal items, picking stuff up, or telling me to pick stuff up, and then saying, what is this? It's a back roller. Why do you need this? Why do I need this? How about go fuck yourself?
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but the shock in this dude's face is it's relatable. Like, yeah, I know, man. I know. That's how I feel about so many things here.
All this for the crime of wanting to film food in Egypt with a valid shooting permit.
As we've established here before in the previous video, the permit is just a formality. It doesn't mean shit, and you don't even need it to shoot on your phone. You're supposed to be allowed to record on your phone pretty much anywhere unless you're in a museum or something. That's where you need to get a special ticket for.
Now, with only iPhones in hand, the show must go on. We're hitting the streets of Cairo in search of any food vendors who will have us. But even this low-profile shooting won't be enough to evade this country's overzealous, militaristic police force. So what did I film that was so egregious the police demanded I delete it? I'll show you right after breakfast.
That has to be one of the smoothest transitions I have ever seen.
As the first rays of light pierce through the trees and old dust-caked buildings of Cairo,
it's worth noting that trees are actually pretty rare to come by now. Over the past 2-3 years, they have cut down like at least half of the amount of trees that we have, which is ridiculous because this is a fucking desert. We need trees.
the small window of peace gradually fades away, replaced by the hustle and bustle of city life.
Yes, Cairo is loud as freaking hell.
Cars, motorbikes, bicycles, and the occasional horse or donkey populate the streets. Crowds are massive and move like schools of fish with a beautiful chaos like no place I've seen before.
Egyptian traffic does not follow a rule beside chaos. Egyptians can manage it because they know how the other person is thinking.
Let me be clear, I like this city. It has character. On camera, it looks amazing.
To the idiots hating on him, take notes.
However, I don't like and I don't respect the people who run it. Day 1, Location 1. Our conniving and mostly useless local producer has brought us here. A small street-side eatery on a quiet road. Low traffic means a lower chance of suspicious police or quickly forming mobs. Sounds great, but what's on the menu?
Something that many of you might notice or find very odd is the lack of hygiene practices in many of these places, but usually you don't get sick anyway from it. It's like, it's not formal or FDA approved or whatever, but still edible, it's fine. You're not gonna get sick from it most of the time, but it's gonna be a recurring theme throughout this video, so just wanted to get this out of the way.
We are in the kitchen of our first location, and I'm excited because I don't know what people in Egypt eat for breakfast, but right now I'm getting a little bit of a hint. Behind me, he is frying French fries, and he just made falafel too. The falafel here is made with fava beans and then fried until they look like little hockey pucks.
This is Saad Al Harami, a restaurant named after its owner.
I'm not quite sure that's his actual name because Saad is a name, okay, but El Harami means thief, so it could be just a nickname, or it could be an unfortunate family name. I don't know. Just saying. Also, it's al-Harami, not al-Harami.
Mr. Assad specializes in dishes that use fava beans. Fava beans are a common breakfast here in Cairo.
Hello, sir. Good morning. He's really busy right now.
Yeah, a lot of people who work in services like this here are basically like NPCs from a game. While they're working, they're in the zone and they're focusing only on what they're doing. Unless you're there to order something, they're not gonna look at you or even care for your presence, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it as a bad thing or anything like that. I respect it.
Here he has about 15 different dishes and tons of flavor combinations. So people come, they step up, they order, and then he's kind of the main guy making it happen. Someone just ordered a chip sandwich. Another chip sandwich? I should get one of those. Oh, so now he's not busy. Oh, hey. We connected after all. Oh my God, see, it just takes persistence.
That's really cute. See, when he was done working and he had a second to look, he immediately interacted with him. See, they're just working. They're not mean.
So right now he's gonna make me a chip sandwich. He's got the soft bread here, puts in the chips, some salt, and then this is a white sauce. I'm not sure what that is yet. Most of the flavor is coming from the salt he added and the tahini. Tahini's kind of new for me. I don't know if I've had that before.
Tahini. It's an Arabic condiment made from toasted ground whole sesame seeds, made into a paste. Here, you'll see it join most meals.
Because it is the absolute best shit out there. It goes with literally anything you can think of. Hell, I think if you could take a bath in it, it could fix your life. Maybe. I don't know, I should try that.
The tahini, it's salty, a bit of sweet sourness. I don't know, I need to try that more to kind of pin it down. The bread is excellent, it's soft, it's chewy. Aside from chip sandwiches, they have something called fool. The fool is something that is eaten commonly for breakfast here all throughout the city of Cairo. And what it is, it's fava beans.
Fava beans are one of the oldest cultivated plants with evidence of their incorporation into Egyptian diets dating back to at least 6000 BC. Now in present day, they're a staple in Egypt, used in dishes like fool and falafel. The fool, a soupy dish made with stewed fava beans, salt and pepper, corn oil, tahini, and chili sauce.
Fool is actually super versatile. Like, there are so many ways to prepare it and so many spice combinations and condiment combinations you can use with it. Like, it's insane. I love it personally. I eat it pretty much all the time. It's, as he said, it's a staple in Egypt. We even have a saying that when you want to say that you are Egyptian or have been in Egypt for a long time, you say, I have eaten fool and falafel, which like makes you common folk, you know?
Falafel, a bean cake made with fava beans, spices, garlic, and herbs. Roll it into balls and deep fry.
This is kind of a typical Egyptian breakfast, something you might expect to see in the morning here in Cairo. And it's beautiful. There's a huge selection. People probably wouldn't order this many things, but I have. Let's take a look at these. I mentioned French fries for breakfast. I can't say that this is rare. I'm looking around, I see almost everybody here has ordered the French fries.
In simple food places like this one, fries are a common thing to see because, as you have noticed by now, Egyptian food is basically just taking stuff and mixing and combining stuff together. So fries, being just perfection in its purest form, it goes well with pretty much all of the stuff he has seen.
Here, this is falafel. I'm gonna break that open. Oh, very nice. Looking extra crispy, fried, and delicious. As far as I know, it's not meant to be eaten with anything. I'm just gonna try it plain like this. Let's go.
No, actually, you're not supposed to eat it alone. I mean, you could, it's fine, but at least put bread on it, dude.
Pour it. Super crunchy and pretty airy too. Falafel's not always my favorite. Sometimes I find falafel can be really dry. But here, this is one of my top falafels I've ever had. I think because they're using a different type of bean, it's much more airy and light, and it's not just like a thick, big chunk of fried stuff.
That kind of depends though on who's making it and how busy they are, etc. Because I have had horrible falafel before and it's, as he said, just super heavy chunk of fried stuff, but if it's done well, it's as he describes it pretty much. It's amazing.
The main reason I came here is for this. This is called fool, and this is a very common breakfast that you'll see in Cairo. You can't really eat it with your hand. It's not really a spoon provided. You kind of lap it up with the bread right here. This bread is super famous here in Cairo. It's called Egyptian bread, and I want to go right now to see how it's made. Behind me now, an Egyptian bread bakery. You can see from the front the fresh bread coming out, people buying it over here. But we're gonna go into the back and see what few people have seen before. Let's go.
It's pretty much what you would expect, really. There's nothing magical going on back there, but let's take a look anyway.
Here, it's a very tight fit. It's enough space for the ingredients and the oven. That's basically all that's here. In the back room, you can see they're making the flour, they're making the dough.
Made with a simple recipe, this is the backbone of Egyptian cuisine. It's consumed with almost all Egyptian meals.
That is true. Almost 90% of Egyptian food can be eaten with bread, and a good portion of that 90% is meant to be eaten with this bread.
Street-side bakeries like this are found on every block, with delivery men nimbly balancing racks of fresh bread on their heads.
Way in the back room, tucked away from the daylight, you see where the process begins. He's already made the dough, and then he portions it into these perfect little balls, and it goes on top of this powder. This powder is like a wheat flour that's been baked. Its only purpose is to make the dough not stick to the sheet.
That's not its only purpose. It also helps the bottom side of it get thicker, so when you put stuff in it, it doesn't get soggy and all messy.
Each of these big old pieces of wood gets about 15 to 20 on there. Now this is gonna hang out here in this room for about 20 minutes to an hour. During that time, it's gonna flatten out naturally, and then it's gonna be ready to go into the oven. That's the next step. We are now at the roasting station. So this is where it's gonna go from dough to something beautiful. He's gently peeling it off of this dust. It's like a wheat dust that everything rests on. And the way he flips it in his hand, it kind of helps expand the dough, and then that gets plopped onto here. This is a conveyor belt. It's super hot. Hundreds of degrees. You can hear the fire underneath heating it up.
Yes, it is actually insanely hot inside these little bakeries. I've been close to inside once, and it's super hot, to be honest. These people are hardcore. Damn, dude.
So they bake hundreds of these at a time, load them up on the conveyor belt, and that just moves and moves continuously. And on the other end, let me tell you, my Habibi, that is magical.
Bro, Habibi means my dear. You don't need to put my before it. That's just saying my dear.
They lay it out here, so people are coming every minute, every second, ordering big bags of this bread. And sometimes you see people, they'll grab these big pallets of bread, put it on their head, and they'll even ride a bike while carrying the bread and delivering it to different restaurants or different families.
That is actually pretty impressive. I've always found it fascinating how they do this. And get this, some people even do it with trays full of glasses, full of tea and other stuff from coffee shops. I have no idea how they do it, what kind of sorcery they're using. I don't know, man. But it's impressive as fuck.
They're bringing a fresh one here right now. Oh, yes, yes, look at this. Oh, it is like a choo-choo train. It's full of steam.
You don't know true pain until you've squished one of these, and it has a little hole on, just a tiny, teeny tiny hole on top, and all of that hot ass steam goes right into your hand. That is not a great experience at all. Don't squish fresh bread. Take it from me.
It's hot, it's toasty on the top. You can see the different textures. The bottom texture has been affected by sitting in that wheat dust. It's a bit rough and coarse. And then on this side, of course, you can see how it's been toasted by the flame. That is beautiful, and it's so hot.
What did I say?
Oh, it's so delicious. It's warm, it's stretchy, it's soft, it's a little bit toasty since it's so fresh.
This bread plays a huge part in Egyptian life, not only incorporating calorie-dense carbohydrates into the local diet for thousands of years, but it can also be used as a utensil. Pick up food, scoop up some sauce.
This maneuver is called cat's ear because it looks kind of like it, or in Arabic with el-otta. You just fold it kind of like a cat's ear and you scoop stuff up with it and you shove it in your mouth. Boom! Magic. It works. It's great. You don't have to wash any utensils after it either, so.
Or wrap it around anything you like.
Yes, we use it to make sandwiches as well, like this. You can also do it different ways. You can put stuff on one side, then fold it like a tortilla. You can cut it in half and stuff the inside. You can cut it from the outside and put the stuff in, like while keeping the whole loaf in there. You can do it so many ways. You can also fold it inside out. It's amazing. This bread is a masterpiece.
So that's how you make Egyptian bread. So I'm gonna break off a piece. I'm gonna dip it in the food. Try it out. It's got a lot of flavor. I mean, it's really starchy from the bean. That's the main thing I noticed. The tahini is very unique because it almost acts like a yogurt, the way it's mixed with different dishes. But it's not dairy at all. It's crushed sesame seed that have been pureed down into this thick sauce. I'm feeling it. Not super bold flavors, but it's hearty, it's savory, and it kind of gives you a lot of energy for starting your day.
Yes, food is super filling, and like beans in general. So you eat this and you're good to go for at least 3-4 hours before you even start getting hungry again, making it perfect for a breakfast.
The last thing I want to try is this right here. So this is the one called mish.
Mish is a traditional and pungent Egyptian dish made by fermenting salty cheese for several months or even years.
That is intense. Super salty, kind of pungent, and then the tomatoes offer some relief because it's just so powerful. It almost has a fermented quality to it, but I like it. It seems like a good food to mix and match with everything else. You're getting some new flavors, and then you can move back over to the full.
I personally have had mish only once in my life, and it was so long ago that I don't remember exactly what it tasted like, but I remember that younger me did not enjoy it very much. It was too salty and too strong, kind of. But don't take my word for it. I have no idea. Maybe it's good, and maybe I was just being wussy back then. Who knows?
So this is it. A beautiful way to start your day. A ton of foods here, and actually all of this for under $5. You can't do much better than that.
Currently, $5 is like what? $1 is around 18 EGP, so that's still not a lot actually in Egyptian money now that I think about it. That's great actually.
We are on our way to our next location, but first I saw a gentleman making street food. I like his style. He's a hustler. He drove here on his motorcycle. He brought all these ingredients and he's making sandwiches. And this reminds me of these long, thin banh mi's they have in Vietnam. So right here you see a long, thin baguette bread. So
We call that finu bread, and it's pretty good, but less handy than Egyptian bread because it gets dry at the tips pretty quickly, and if you store it for too long it gets kind of flaky and gross. But when it's fresh, it's absolutely delicious.
he just takes the egg, he cuts it into slices, he puts salt, pepper, and then he puts something they call here turkey cheese.
Turkey the country, not the animal. Don't get it confused. It's called in Arabic Turkey cheese because Turkey is the same. Or we can call it Rumi, which is the old name for Turkey back in the old ancient Arabic days.
The cost is about under $1. I'm gonna, I feel weird eating long objects like this on the internet. I don't want you guys to Photoshop anything in my hand. Hold on, I'm just gonna block your view.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. The extra hand makes it even worse, dude. What are you doing?
Is this the best thing in the world? No. It's cheap, it's quick, it's easy, it tastes good. There's soft bread here, and there's cheese. Oh, the cheese is very good. The cheese has a very sharp, almost delightfully stinky smell to it. What I like most is just the story of what's going on here. More than anything else, I like people who hustle and who work their ass off.
I agree. Hats off to this guy.
A local hotspot offering one of Egypt's national dishes. People don't just line up for the flavors, but to take in the gravity-defying display.
This is like some shit you would see in Ratatouille from Disney.
Welcome to one of the busiest street food locations in all of Cairo. Behind me, they're making a food called koshary. They have an assembly line full of gentlemen who are one by one adding ingredients that add up to this really famous dish.
Koshary, a type of mixed rice dish, originated during the mid-19th century. This dish combines Italian and Arab culinary elements.
As you move down, you see this is where the action really happens. So many raw ingredients is beautiful.
As we've already established, the Egyptian cuisine is basically just combining stuff together, and somehow it works. I honestly have no idea why this dish even tastes as good as it does, but it is amazing. I love it, and I definitely recommend it if you ever get down here. Hell, you can even make it at home. It's not that hard. You're probably gonna end up running out of one ingredient before the others do, but who cares? It's amazing. You can just make more. Make more, do it. It's awesome.
They have the rice, they have pasta, two different types of pasta. There's a spaghetti and kind of like a cut up elbow noodle. Then there's some meat, and right here, this is my favorite part, the fried onions. He flips it in, and he really gives it some style. Can we see it? Boom, there it is. Flip, flip, flip. I gotta say, his accuracy is not 100%. About half of the fried onions are actually getting into the container, but it's a great show. And all the people, they're looking up at us here. They can't see all the onions being chopped on the floor.
That's a fucking shame. The fried onions are the absolute best part of it. In my opinion, anyway.
After the onions, it gets the tomatoes, it gets the chickpeas, but that's just if you're getting it for takeout. If you're eating here like I am, they build the rest of the dish at your table. Let's go see what that looks like now. All right, all right. Everything's separated right now. On the sauce, they put salt and pepper, a little bit of vinegar, something spicy. Oh, yes. Squeeze of lime or lemon, and then they put that on top of the feast right here. That looks incredible. Look at this. I'm no expert, but when you come to places like this, you have to look around and see what other people are doing. And I see that no one just eats it from the top to bottom. They mix it all up and they get it all layered, so all the flavors are in each bite.
Yes, you're supposed to mix it so you get even taste in every spoonful you take. It doesn't look nearly as pretty after you mix it, but who cares? It tastes better, so do it.
I'm gonna grab a big spoonful. That looks beautiful. Wow, it's like a spaghetti. So it's like a spaghetti, but then you have the fried onions, which adds an interesting dimension of savoriness. And then you got chickpeas in there. They're almost soggy, but it adds a very different texture to everything. There is some meat on here, but it's not super easy to taste amongst everything else. A lot of this series is about me trying to figure out what Egyptian food even is, because it's something I've never experienced before. Now I'm in the heart of the country. I'm trying really authentically pure Egyptian food. Can I put my finger on exactly what Egyptian food is yet? No.
It's chaos, but it's also beautiful. That's pretty much the only description I can think of for it. Like a lot of things here, actually. Some of them are just chaos, not beautiful, but whatever.
Just after filming Koshary, the police stopped us and made our production van drive to the nearby police station. They caught us in the sinful act of filming bread on the sidewalk.
Right now, the van is at a police station. All the local people have been taken out of the van. They've gone through the shots on my phone, and we don't know what's gonna happen next. It's possible they'll try to delete the footage. Luckily, we've already just airdropped the footage to a decoy phone, so it doesn't matter, but hopefully it doesn't get to that anyways. But this is what it's like to shoot here. All we were doing is shooting with phones on the street at a bakery, and that was enough to have our whole vehicle have to be pulled into here to speak to the police and to justify our actions, even though we have a permit to shoot. Doesn't matter. So, not sure what's gonna happen. We're gonna find out pretty soon. So, we just got done with the police. We're at our next location now. Get this, they told us to delete our footage. Why? No reason. Do we have a permit? Yup. Do we break a law? No. As far as I can understand, it all depends on how the people at the top are feeling on that particular day.
Yes. Actually, this is true. So many things in Egypt that have to do with government, businesses or firms or whatever are basically run this way. If whoever is in charge or whoever you're dealing with directly is in a good mood, you're gonna get whatever you want nice and easy. If he's not, you are gonna have a pretty shitty time. That's just the way it works here. There are no laws. It's all up to the individual, unfortunately.
What they told us is that the footage of the bakery we shot wasn't beautiful, it wasn't pretty enough, it didn't meet their standard. They told us to delete it. Suddenly these guys are documentary filmmakers. I don't get it. So did we actually delete it? Absolutely not. While we were waiting, we airdropped all the footage to an extra phone. That's the phone I showed them, and that's the footage I deleted. They don't even know how the phones work. It's all the footage is in my delete bin right now. I could just restore it at any time. So that's fortunate.
As I said in the previous video, they're super easy to trick. They have absolutely zero knowledge about tech. You can just fake it for them. But alternatively, you could probably just bribe whoever pulled you in or whoever is in charge of that situation, and you can just walk free with your footage. It's not a safe approach. Don't do it unless you absolutely have no other choice, because you could get into even more trouble for trying to bribe an officer. But if you go for someone who is lower ranked, chances are they'll just take it because they honestly couldn't give less of a shit about this whole situation. They're just doing what they're told. It is a blessing, actually, that the authorities here, who are super bureaucratic, also happen to be very stupid and super easy to fool, because otherwise, we, the people who live here, would be having a very hard time doing pretty much anything.
But literally, every minute we're shooting in the city, we're looking over our shoulders, we're constantly paranoid, and I don't really like it. It's not that fun, to be honest. But we have a job to do. The mission must go on. I actually really like this next food we're doing, so I'm gonna get to it. Hawaushi.
When it comes to Egyptian street food, Hawaushi is a big top contender. And when it comes to Hawaushi, well, you must come here. The perfect place to film street food while being shielded from the view of the police. This place is called Hawaushi Al Rafai. They're known for their unique recipes and a wide-ranging menu with tons of variations, like Hawaushi with cheese or other various meats. Now, the question that must be answered, what the heck is a Hawaushi?
It sounds Japanese, kinda. This dude with his headband would actually make a great samurai if he named himself Hawaushi and he got himself a katana or something.
This is one of my favorite foods I've tried so far. I'm sorry, I tried this one without you guys. Sometimes I eat on my own time.
How dare you!
And it's one of my favorites. So here's how it starts. First of all, this is just like the Egyptian bread. My man here, he cuts the edges off so it can be opened up easily. Then over here, they're weighing out some minced lamb meat. That lamb meat is spiced, it's delicious.
You can do it with pretty much any kind of meat, though. You can do it with beef, ground up chicken or lamb as he did, or even pork if you want, but that's not gonna be very common here.
And it gets spread, kind of smeared by hand within this bread disc.
Hawaushi is a typical Egyptian sandwich. What makes this place stand out are the secret spices they put into the meat. Once a batch of Hawaushi is stuffed, they bring them to the grilling station.
Here, he puts it on this very hot griddle. The meat's gonna cook through, the bread's gonna get crispy, and all of it is gonna be absolutely delicious. Let me show you really quick. I love this. Oh yes, ooey gooey cheese on the inside.
Personally, I absolutely love Hawaushi. It's amazing, especially with cheese. Anything is good with cheese. But you can also put on it, you can put barbecue sauce, ketchup, ranch, you know, you can put pretty much anything you want on it, really. And it's still gonna taste absolutely amazing. That's the beauty of it.
Oh, as he cuts it, you can see the cheese squirting out. That looks so good.
That dude looks super well dressed. I wonder if they brought out the manager himself to serve this guy for the show. I mean, that would be good publicity for them, I suppose. Authorities, take fucking notes.
Aside from this, we also have pickled vegetables and we have tahini here. Now, I've tried tahini a couple times today. I still don't quite know what it tastes like because I haven't tried it alone.
It tastes weird actually on its own. It's not bad or anything, but it tastes unique. Like, it has a small dusty quality to it while also being oily and sesame tasting. It's great. It's an unique experience. Also, it smells absolutely beautiful. Like, just the smell of it is enough to get you salivating.
To me, it's similar to a hummus. It's a little bit different feeling in your mouth because it's not made with chickpeas, it's made with sesame seeds. But with the spice, the salt, the texture, it's a little hummusy.
Yeah, that's actually a valid thing to compare it to. It's kind of close to it.
I'm gonna try some of these pickled vegetables right here. We got tomato, eggplant. I'm gonna grab some of the carrot. Wow. Okay, pickle overload. I think that is the palate cleanser, but I need to cleanse my palate from that with the Pepsi. I've noticed in this country the pickles are on another level. They're super salty, sour, and spicy too. It's kind of addictive though. It's such a powerful flavor. It punches you in the face like eating raw garlic. But then after a while, it goes away, it dissipates, and you want another hit.
Yeah, compared to a lot of Western food, Egyptian food is super spice-based, and a lot of foreigners can't handle it because of how spicy and flavorful it is, which I am a fan of, obviously, since I live here.
This is why we're here. Oh, beautiful cheese pull. We'll try it out. There's so many things to love. The texture is so crunchy. The bread by itself is amazing. The meat is beautifully seasoned. Almost a little bit like eating a seek kebab with all the spices and flavors and just a very fine mince. Give it a little bit of a dip. Is this what people do? I'm assuming it's there as a dip, like ranch.
You could dip it in, or you could just smear some on top. You can do whatever you want. No one's gonna really care. Just get it in.
I don't know if I can say it's improving it. It is adding a different level, different dimension. It's like dipping something that's already very delicious and putting it into hummus. It doesn't need anything extra. It's beautiful just how it is.
Yes. Good way to put it, my friend.
Just like your wife, girlfriend, whoever you're sleeping with. Keep telling them that. They love that stuff.
Oh my god, you went there. Oh, okay. See that little poster on the side on the right? That's the president. A little deep fried from the sun, but that's him.
I believe, if it's not too late, we've got one more spot to go.
Our first day of shooting in Cairo was quite a mixed bag. The police took our cameras. Our local Egyptian producer turned out to be completely incompetent.
Again, that is the lack of standard that many people struggle with when visiting. You could have had the absolute best producer Egypt has to offer come up to you, or you could have had this guy who was completely useless. You never know, and there's absolutely no way to guarantee it. That is the unfortunate truth of it.
And even more police told us to delete our footage. On the bright side, I got to hang out with some really cool, kind people. I ate some fantastic food.
This is my favorite thing we've tried today. I love it.
And I get to visit one of the 7 man-made wonders of the world.
We are right outside the pyramids right now. We're gonna ride the camels because that's what you do when you come here. I've been told the first thing I should do is find a camel that speaks to me. This one just farted. It has gas. That's how I know it's my spirit animal. All right, this is a camel for me.
Okay, good one. I have to admit.
This series and my experience in Egypt, they're both complicated. I have nothing against the people of Egypt. I just think in a country that makes 12% of its GDP from tourism.
The fuck is a GDP? Oh, yeah, he's right.
The police, the authorities, and those who run this place might want to stop treating their tourists like spies and criminals.
This place is so small, it barely fits the giant oven that's inside. They come here, they scuba. up some bread. They eat, they enjoy.
Watching a video with Egyptian internet be like? Okay, that's all for this vid. Drop a like if you did, share it with your friends, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always unsubscribe at any time if you start hating me or whatever. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions, comment it down below. I read and respond to all of your comments, so get in there and let me know what you think. And stay tuned for part 2 of this series. Take care.
Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. All right. I'm gonna walk the Sahara Desert until I die.